Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are going to be taking a first look, semi-exclusive. There have been a few other places, I think D-Gamer, some other folks have been covering this, but only a few. Today we're going to be taking a look at Burden of Command. They just provided a demo of, sort of a first look demo of this upcoming role-playing leadership role-playing war game. It's kind of a lot of descriptors for this, but I would say the unique thing about Burden of Command is that, unlike most war games, what it's trying to do is it's trying to put you in the shoes of a leader during World War II, right? I think it seems to focus around, at least the mechanics that I've seen so far seem to focus around a company command as sort of the command level. You're starting off in the boot camp as a platoon commander, but I'm assuming, again, based on the way that the game works so far, is that it's really geared toward company command. And so that's a very interesting and sort of tactically focused war game level. But it is also, interestingly enough, the level, I think, at which you are going to see the most interaction with your soldiers, right? Once you get above the company level, you typically start to lose that personal touch. You know, good leaders obviously shouldn't, but as you start moving further up the chain of command, you start to lose that personal connection that you have with your soldiers. And so, you know, Burden of Command is trying to show the moral challenges and the emotional challenges of being a leader in a situation where you have to send people to their deaths, perhaps. And how do you balance the cost of the commands you have to give against the need to win the war, right? Like, you are responsible for sending people to their deaths, but it's not just an option to sit back out of danger and let someone else do it either. That's the burden of command, as you would guess. So we're going to be taking a first look at this today, this demo. It is taking place effectively in sort of the later stages, I'm assuming, of the tutorial for the game. We are in Virginia. We are training. It is 1942. And, you know, right now this is sort of the menu screen where you can see your different units. I am here. I've named myself Lieutenant Butcher. Hopefully I will not be butchering my own men, but that's sort of my little call sign within this channel. And I've been leading through some initial tutorial missions, getting my hands dirty with the basics of how this game will work. But you can see, obviously, this is a company setup. Captain Lamb is the company commander, although in the last scenario I was sort of given temporary command, presumably grooming me for higher command. We're about to play, I believe, what's called Crossroads, which is a scenario within the boot camp, if you will. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump in and see what we have in store for us here. Oh, by the way, one thing they do mix in here, which I actually really appreciate, is they've got different interviews with veterans that I'm assuming they pulled from this World War II museum they've referenced a few times. Feels like it's trying to be a little bit like Band of Brothers, you know, how they start each episode with interviews with different soldiers. So
that's where we left from. We left from Newport News when we went overseas to Africa then.
Now, when you were there, did you know where you were headed at that point in time?
Nope, nobody knew where we were going or anything. I mean, until after we were out to sea for, you know, quite some time, and then somebody said we were going to Africa.
So you've got that initial sort of briefing thing in the front with the veteran here. Charlie Bruns describes leaving the USA. Says another Friday, September 25th, Camp Pickett, Virginia. So the barracks at the other side of the courtyard are quiet and still as you approach. A starlight glance at your watch finds that it's almost time to resume training. They could use a full night's sleep, Lieutenant, or my NCO says. Bennett is my sergeant, as he falls in beside you. It's been a rough couple of days. Wake them up, no slack. That'll give my men more experience, but they'll be a little bit suppressed starting the battle, so obviously they won't start fresh. We can wake them at dawn as usual. They'll get a little bit of experience, but have a very small amount of suppression, or they've earned the rest and the men will come in ready. You know, obviously, if I was playing this in a longer sense, because we don't, you know, this is still a demo, I think the experience would be very valuable for us, but we gained quite a bit of experience in the previous battle. Some of our units in our platoon are above sort of the threshold where they start getting bonuses here. So I think we're going to go ahead and just give them a few extra hours of sleep. I'd rather they start fresh. Managing your units' fatigue and sort of suppression is a key piece of making them combat effective. So we'll give them a little bit of extra sleep. We'll heed our sergeant's recommendation here. So eventually the lights come on, the men wake, only a little bit of coaxing, they commence their usual shit, shower, and shave, followed by a hot breakfast. But there's no time for idle digestion. The order goes out and they grab their gear. So we start with a brisk hike. The map takes us to a ravine, and the men march on despite their heavy packs. Halfway to the top, the field umpire steps out from, and remember, this is training back home in the States, so there's a lot of like different officers sort of interspersed as we're doing these exercises, who are effectively the judges of what's going on in these exercises. So kind of think like, if you've seen Band of Brothers, sort of the Currahee episode where they're doing all that training back home in the States, kind of similar stuff going on here. So the sole exercises of the day he calls down to you. Company level operation. You're to secure the road ahead, both the crossroads near the apple orchard and the hill overlooking it. The field umpire turns his gesture toward the crest of a nearby hill. Your men groan as they realize just how much further they have to go today. Why are the peaks always on top? Private Morse asks. They're always been up there, Private Patterson. Tradition. So they continue to bitch and moan, and then a field umpire blows their whistle, says there's plunging fire from a machine gun up there, and I have to choose one of the two men, Morris or Patterson, to be casualties. They're pointing at each other to blame each other, so I guess they both want to participate in the drill, but it's up to us to determine who gets killed. I don't really know anything about Patterson or Morris in this. I'm assuming this is intending to give me a piece of like, hey, you choose your men's fate, but I don't know anything about them. So maybe we choose to weigh the merits. What are their merits? For otherwise cracking, both men are competent soldiers. Patterson's definitely the cleverer of the two and has that easygoing southern charm. Morris has an excellent bullhorn voice when he needs to be heard, and hard-headed. New York practically to back it up. If the field umpire blows his whistle again, too long, your hesitation means both men are dead. Oh, great. Okay. Well, sorry. The other casualty is my Sergeant Bennett. Oh, that's great. Grant to the front, I guess. Grant is sort of our... I guess they called him an aide. He's like sort of the next level up platoon guide. Okay. Grant comes forward. A swift explanation puts him in charge of the platoon. Both your sergeants look your way for whistles once more. The rest of the men brace themselves for the uphill struggle. Yeah, so it's definitely got strong storytelling elements, and there's going to be a turn-based wargame piece here soon. So there's one thing Sergeant Grant says: sudden promotion to platoon leader clearly weighs heavily on him. It seems like every field promotion problem included a part where if we forgot about our cover, the refs would remind us. They love to shout sniper. That's a good point. Creep forward. All right, so here is the battlefield here. This is obviously sort of a starting scenario in training. I'm assuming we've got to take this objective over here with the flag. We've got two officers right now. We've got ourself here, and then we've got Lieutenant Dearborn. So you basically issue orders to your units, and while they can move without you, they're much more effective with a leader in charge. So effectively, it looks like we've got two platoons. It wants me to creep forward to this hex. Actually, the objective's here. I should read the screen here. So let's go ahead and do this. Again, it's a tutorial here, so we can go ahead and tell these guys to. So you can actually choose to move either officers or squads independent of each other. The yellow icon represents the leader orders. The squad icon represents the squad. And when you have an officer attached to a squad, it'll move with the squad. So in this case, we had both the officer and the unit creep into position. They're in for a surprise. They haven't spotted us yet. You turn to Sergeant Grant and consider how best to both secure the crossroads and the elevated position. Okay. So there's bad guys here. They haven't spotted us yet. Now we can only issue orders to one leader's unit and one leader at a time. So right now we're Lieutenant Butcher right here. we've got these additional squads under our control. But the second platoon here is under Lieutenant Dearborn's command. And the way this game works is it is both turn-based and round-based. So each leader has their own round with their own, their own chain of command. And then another leader has their own round. So you play a round, you end the round, then you play the next round, and that round. Once everybody's gone through all their rounds, that's when the actual turn ends. Okay. So let's make sure we stay. I mean, I don't know that they can see me. You can see there's some elevation indicators here. So they're up here. But with this tree line here, I don't know if they have a line of sight on any of these guys back here.
So I didn't realize this in the moment, but the orange bordering around a hex means that that's within line of sight of an enemy you've spotted.
So you can right-click to create waypoints. So I can select the second squad and then right-click here. And you see this little flag appear that indicates it's a waypoint. Right-click here. And then these guys can move into position here. Now, my squad that I'm with, this first squad, you can see these little circles here are both gray. That means they've effectively used all their movement points and they can't move again. To move these other squads, though, these are fresh. You see these little green dots indicating they have 2 movement points or action points. But to move them, we'll burn one of them. So if I want to move a squad, it does burn. Actually, no, it burns my leadership points here. So let's just go ahead and move these guys. All right, so I burned one of my leader points to activate this squad to get them to move, but then they were able to move in just by consuming one of their action points here. So we're going to move this other squad back here. It'll use my leader's last action point, but I'm going to move them up a little bit on the flank here into this wood line and try and keep them in cover here. So again, we're going to go ahead and move them, and then they move into position here. So I'm not sure. Oh, no, I guess that we revealed our position to them. But they didn't shoot at us, I suppose. So we've kind of been exposed. I thought I was moving through decent cover, but I guess I probably should have creeped. I should have followed the creep order that we did with our first unit as we moved up. Anyway, so we've moved into position here. Enemy is here. We're in cover at least, and that's going to do it for this round. So we'll go ahead and end this round. The enemy is bolstering their men, so that'll improve their morale and effectiveness. So you could hear the enemy issue their commands. I mean, they know I'm here. We probably should get Dearborn. So now it's Dearborn's round, if you will. So now we should probably get Dearborn's boys off the road. This seems like it's kind of an exposed position. Now they know I'm here, so I don't know that it's as important to creep. Might just make more sense to get them out of there. So let's go ahead and move these guys up onto this sort of elevation here, overlooking the crossroads, and get them off the road. So they'll form up, I guess, on the north side of the road, while my other platoon forms up on the south side of the road.
Pick it up.
Oh, shit. We're getting shot in the flank. Enemy machine gun up on this hill here. So we lose 1 command point because they're taking fire. So these guys moved up and then they took fire, and that basically suppressed and pinned them. So they're just hanging out here. There's an enemy machine gun up here. So off to a good start. I suppose we can try and creep. They can only move 1 hex when you creep, though, and it costs 2 orders, which again is why I didn't particularly want to do that. So I suppose we just won't. Let's just try and get these guys in cover south of the road. And we're going to move Dearborn's other squad maybe into this heavier cover. I don't... They can't quite get there. They can get over here. But then he's separated from the rest of his men. So maybe that's not... We'll just keep the 1 squad on the wrong side of the road. I guess everybody's going to the south side of the road. I'm not sure what the best approach to the machine gun is. It's definitely going to overlook the crossroads and be a problem. Maybe going up on north and then through this wood line near the top of the map would have been the better strategy, but we'll see. All right, so Dearborn is... at least this squad is pretty much done. I don't know that I want to move them again. We could fire here. We wouldn't have a great chance of success, though. Can I Well, I could move Dearborn forward just by himself. So you see when you click here, you've got both leader and squad selected. So if I issued an order, they'd both go. When I click on the portrait here, just the leader is selected. So I can move him between platoons so that leaders are, effectively, they're their own thing. They can attach to their units, but they can also move independent, which I think is a neat little feature in this game. It allows you to move between units as a leader, as opposed to just being anchored to one specific platoon or squad. So I actually do like that. Also, it looks like there's an enemy unit up here, as far as we can tell. Anything else we want to do here? We've still got one movement point for both of these squads. They could move independent of the leader, but again, with this machine gun overlooking us, makes me a little bit uneasy to do that. And I don't really want to break our squad up. I'd like to keep my leader close so that I can move through between platoons if possible. So I think we'll just end this turn. Let's see what happens. Second platoon coming up. Sergeant Grant calls over to you, and Lieutenant Wilson must have hustled them right over the ridge. If training were a game of chess, then this would be a strong move. He points toward a hillside where 30-odd men, along with their umpire, scramble along with the wooded crest. Lieutenant Wilson leads them from the front. The runner should make contact shortly, the field umpire says, and then checks his watch. Okay, so reinforcements coming in down here. A new platoon showing up on the southern edge of the map. So is he a cap? No, he's just a lieutenant. So I don't think I have a captain in this scenario so far. We know there's bad guys here.
You'll notice that it refreshed everybody's movement points. All their little green circles are filled in again because we ended the turn. So the way it works is you move each individual platoon, and once all of your platoons have moved and you end the turn, then it refreshes everybody and everybody can move again. Additionally, whichever platoon you issue an order to first is the one you move first on your first round. So I can choose any of these units to move. I could do Wilson, or I could do Butcher, or I could do Dearborn. Once I issue an order to one of those platoons, though, then that platoon has claimed the round. All right, so they actually revealed an enemy over here who also has the high ground, because, of course, they all have the fucking high ground. Can they press? I'd like to give these guys... All right, so I'm going to press, which uses a leadership point, but then allows me to give an action point back to the unit. I don't know what to do with these reinforcements here on the southern edge of the map. Can I bolster them? So I'm going to bolster those reinforcements, which will give them a little bit better combat effectiveness, if you will. You can see these little donuts here on the top of the screen indicate like who's going to win a particular fight if we start shooting. These guys have elevation, so that presumably makes them more effective. But right now it's kind of an even chance, but there's also some uncertainty there. So I'd rather not shoot if I don't have to, although I can't move any of these other guys because I don't have any more command points. So I guess that ends the round. I guess let's try and engage these guys that we've got some... I should have bolstered, but in any event, I surprised him. I don't have any artillery right now, do I? Let's fire again. We've got another good initiative chance here. Suppose I could move these guys over and bolster. So move my leader over here.
Where are we going?
Bolster to improve their combat effectiveness. Oh, there's no suppression, so there's actually no need to do that. Hey, it looks like we might have inflicted a casualty there. So you see the little skull and crossbones that pops up. That means you inflicted a casualty. Now, this game is very strong on you need to effectively assault positions. Just spraying them with bullets is not going to kill a lot of folks. Why do you keep shooting at us? Because you're the bad guys. Right, so we'll end the round. Then we'll get Dearborn up. move? Where are they moving? All right, there's a leader trying to rally these guys, which will, you know, effectively unsuppress them, I guess. I want to charge them, but I'm worried about what can be seen from up here. So, like, what can they... Does this show me what they can see? Is there... A line of sight tool would be nice. Oh, there is one? There's binos? Okay. Tutorial hadn't touched line of sight yet. Thank you. So this would appear... Oh, that's lame. So the machine gun could see just this one little ridge here, but not anything else. All right, so in theory, we should be good to assault these guys in the front. Okay, so we bolstered, which should help our morale. We're crossing open ground. They did just get rallied, which probably improves their effectiveness. We'll see if we pass the morale check. You see this underneath where it says Cav Squad, that little half donut? There's a chance I may order them to assault and they just will fail. But... yeah. Okay. Didn't I already bolster?
No can do.
Yeah, I know, dude. I already bolstered them. I thought I did. Guess I'll do it again. Let's try again. Yay! Charge!
Follow me.
No resistance. Suppress. Oh, well, we had been suppressing them with the 3 platoons or 3 squads over here. So the bad guys looks like they've got their hands up. So I'm assuming we wiped out that squad. We did reveal another enemy squad back toward the crossroads. Okay. Now, we did use all of our action points for Lieutenant Dearborn. So we cannot move any of his other platoon. Like, these guys have movement points, but because we used all of his points on this one squad, he can't issue any more commands to his unit. So we're going to have to end the turn. We did leave this one, platoon out here hanging out. The mortars arrive. A runner jogs over and halts before you, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Stern says to tell you that we have some mortars. Awesome. Stern knows his work. Send a runner. I'll get XP. I'll trust Stern. Stern knows where to put his guns for maximum effect. The enemy's elevation makes the line of sight superior. So Stern commands the heavy weapons platoon. So he's got machine guns, not really, because this is all exercise based, but he's got like wooden chunks of metal or whatever, or sticks. So he's got his machine guns set up over here. He's got his mortars set up back here. He's got actually 2 machine gun units here. Lieutenant Stearns is here. So this MG, is this a captain? Or who is this? Oh, it's an enemy? Okay. Can we shoot him? Does anybody have line of sight on him? No. All right. So where's Stearns? Stearns is here. And Stearns does not have great line of sight. He can't really see anything I want to shoot at. Maybe the officer. Oh, wait, no, he's back here. Okay. So one of the things here is, like, Stearns has these MGs, which would be great at suppressing the enemy to allow us to assault their positions. But the MGs don't really have good line of sight where they are currently. So we've got Stern back here. We've got his MGs over here. This MG can't shoot at anybody. So I probably should move these guys, right? Like, get them into a position where they can do something. Problem is, this squad is where I'd want the MGs. Although, again, with this Overwatch, maybe less so. It looks to me like the best approach really is to stay south of the road based on the line of sight here. So I think the problem is I already assaulted the position that I would most want to be in. And I don't really want to move my MGs into the line of fire. But again, this is the challenge, is that the enemy has better line of sight because they're up high. So I think what I can do, we could do direct fire. We can call in artillery support. So you have to have line of sight from your spotter. So the mortars can fire on their own. They can find their own targets, but they can't see anything back there. So we could just order Stern forward, and he can act as effectively a spotter. But for what and where? That's where where do we want to move them? Would they shoot at just an officer? I might. Okay, so I guess back here, maybe they won't shoot over here. So let's actually move both the Stern and the MG. Just in case they take fire. I know it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to bolster there, but I don't have any way to move here either. Ideally, you'd stay under cover, but we're going to move through the open. Okay.
No stragglers.
Good job, boys. We got into position, and we didn't take any fire. So now that this MG unit got here, I don't want to spend any points on the MG north of the road, so I'm going to go ahead and instead call my arty in, and I think we can hit these guys. I love the sound of mortars. And again, that's because our lieutenant here he can contact back to the mortars, which they don't have line of sight, but he's acting as a spotter. So we dropped artillery in on this squad just south of the crossroads. Now the problem is this squad that we just hit is within line of sight of the enemy MG if we do decide to assault them. Also, these guys can all see this MG unit, so that's another thing to be aware of. Dearborn, what else are you going to do? Probably nothing. I don't know that there's anything else for him to do. We did the direct support. I guess I could press the well, no, because I could press the MG, right? And that would give them a point and they could shoot.
We ain't done yet.
So I don't want to shoot at the guys I just dropped mortars on. I'd rather shoot at the other guys, because then maybe I can suppress both of these enemy squads and assault them. Fire ineffective, according to the Empire. Okay. So go ahead and end this turn, because we don't have anything else to do with the Heavy Weapons Company. What's the best way to come up on these guys? Can anybody see that little corner? No. I don't love moving these guys into the open, but it does look like this sector might be... They're hiding. Nobody can see them. All right. Let's move this other platoon up. Or this other squad up. I just want to make sure that we're keeping these guys closer to the front. So Lieutenant Wilson still has the ability to bolster, so we'll do that.
You gonna let an old man do all the work?
And then we'll have Lieutenant Wilson fire on this left flank enemy, because they were not impacted by the machine gun, according to the report. So they're suppressed. Target is heavily suppressed. Okay. That's great. Can we assault them without the leader? Is it worth a try? They got one more. Oh, wait, no, but Wilson doesn't have any action points.
Come on already.
Oh, we had already activated them. Okay. All right, so they surrendered. Yay! So we got another enemy. We pushed into this wood line here, pushed up over their left flank, and we get heavily suppressed from this MG nest from above. So these guys took, what, 8 damage from the MG nest up here? We did overrun the enemy. We didn't lose anybody in the MG fire. But that's right, because they had already been activated. They could move again. It didn't require a leader point. All right, so I think that's probably it. I don't know that I want to move anybody else right now. What is that MG all see again? So we can just see over that ridge. So they came right above the ridge, surprised the enemy, overran them, forced them to surrender, and then took machine gun fire as they were exposed. Can these guys shoot at anybody? No. So I mean, we could move the other unit. We've already started to move. Let's actually do this. Let's move them. Can I move them into this little gully here? No, it's too far. Okay. All right, we are going to move these guys here. They'll be out of line of sight of this squad as well as this squad, and they'll be kind of creeping up on them in a spot a little bit below this ridge where nobody can see them over there. At least nobody we've spotted so far can see them over there. Maybe the enemy officer can. Nope. So they'll be able to get closer to the enemy to perhaps surprise them. Well, they're marked as Vichy, but they're really just other U.S. soldiers that we're fighting with. All right, so Lieutenant Wilson is leading this round. Right, so we'll end the round. They keep getting a dude trying to rally him. So we can't do the heavy weapons. We already did the mortars this round. This MG nest is going to be a pain in the ass. But I don't see any way that we can push these bad guys back off this ridge without exposing ourselves to it. The good news is it can't hit me on the approach shot. It can only hit me once I'm at the enemy's location. If I had the ability to drop smoke to obscure their position, I would do that, but it's not an option. So I suppose what we do right now... Blocked line of sight. Can any of these guys see back here? No. So these guys have been mortared, but they've been rallied. So what if we do this? What if we move... Let's choose my character, Butcher. Let's move the group this way, just regularly this time. Oh, I can't creep. I have to have my full order set or something like that. Costs 2 orders. Okay. So what I could do, let's press them. Let's see if that works. Yep. And then creep up here. And they creep into position. They creep into the enemy's line of sight. But when you creep up, you don't actually get shot at. So I've moved into a position where I can now shoot at and suppress this cavalry squad, but they did not shoot me on the approach. So good news there. Bad news is the rest of that platoon is not able to move because I haven't activated them this turn. But good news is that I've got a guy in range of this cavalry squad. So that's, I'm assuming that's why the game is like, hey, you should creep it first because that's a useful mechanic. All right, so let's end the round. And now I think this is the only group left we have. So I don't know that I want to engage these guys at the moment. I would rather get more of this squad back here in position. And so we will move. This will be in line of sight, won't it? Yeah, there's a little green thing. This little hex is in line of sight. So I guess we could creep up on them. Maybe that would let us get in position to assault, and then next turn we drop arty on them and then charge them if they're suppressed, hopefully. Oh, shoot. They can suppress from here. That's right. So they can just move one forward. We can just creep them into position where they can offer covering fire for that other unit as it moves up. I'd like to move these guys over here, but I need to get an officer up there to rally them. For now, they're still sitting heavily freaked out by the machine gun. You can retreat, by the way, if you want. That is an option. Be easier to rally them from the south side of the road. All right, let's... creep these guys up. So we're now adjacent to this enemy squad, sneaking up on them, all sneaky-like. And I think we'll end the round. And the turn, I believe, because everybody's moved. Everybody's moved? Everybody who can move, anyway. So we got 12 turns left. Messenger for Company HQ hurries over. Captain Lamb wants you over at the command post now. Okay. Sure. When Nichols' company commander says to come over, Nichols' platoon leader comes over. You find Captain Lamb map in hand with 3 other messengers, 1 for each 2nd, 3rd, and the weapons platoon. Them fellas really want to put us in a pickle, don't they? But pickles are made to... I love the sarcasm. I think in my full Let's Play this game, I will go hard into the sarcasm route. They certainly are, he says. Let's slip a little chuckle. Then he taps his map. The umpires say we need to take that hill without taking too many casualties. What do I need to know? Where are they keeping you? What do you need to know? Where are they keeping you? Shoved a heap of mess hall trouble my way. Claimed it couldn't wait. Then he says, okay, we're trying to move forward. Okay. The hill dominates it. I'm assuming the hill's with the machine gun. Cover's good for us, but also them. Anything else? No. Let's get to it, Captain Lamb says. Yes, sir. The entire company is training together. Captain Lamb has arrived. All right. So now we have a captain, and captains can do neat things. So captains basically act like platoon leaders, you know, like lieutenants, where they can issue orders to units, except they can issue orders to any of the platoon's units. They can kind of attach to each squad. They can also issue orders to adjacent units, so they don't necessarily have to be in the same hex as the unit. You know, that just gives you a lot of additional flexibility for fighting with units here. So let's see, can he rally from one away? He can. So he can go ahead and rally these guys. Cottonbalers! So you can see he used an action point and he rallied these guys. I think, anyway. Looks like it used up their points, but they look like they rallied. So what else would we want to do here? What can he creep? He can, so we can creep him up here. And then he can also do mortar fire. So he can order mortars down perhaps on the MG nest? Let's do that. Let's try and see if we can suppress this MG nest. Okay. So he just issued all of his orders, I guess, by dropping that artillery and by rallying the second squad there. We'll go ahead and end his turn, or his round. We're getting shot! Oh boy. So they apparently sneaking up on the enemy did not prevent the enemy from shooting at me. And they pretty badly wrecked up this platoon that had snuck up on the enemy position. Maybe I should have dropped arty on them. We'll do Lieutenant Wilson's platoon
I'm counting
first.
on you, boys.
So see if we can... They've got elevation, which is tricky.
Nail 'em.
If I move up here, I'll expose myself, though. Alright, we'll have the LT rejoin these guys. It says he can press, but they don't have any... He doesn't have any points left. So we'll end his round. I mean, it makes sense they spotted me. I'm not surprised that they shot me from a hex away. I was hoping that they wouldn't, but obviously that's a challenge. Are they suppressed at all? My guys are surprised and got shot up. Most of Dearborn's guys are back here. So let's actually do this. Let's use Stern.
Fire! Fire!
So we'll suppress them. I don't think I can use the mortars again, unfortunately,
Knock 'em out!
because they fired for the lieutenant or the captain. Let's gamble and throw this MG up here. Is it going to get shot at by the Overwatch? Oh, no, someone else shot at it. Great. Alright, so we took suppression from this other squad here, north of the road. See if we can get him to go join them. Alright, so he's back here. I don't think anybody can see him. It says he's hiding. I'm going to try and get him up to the MG nest that was just shot at, so we can try and rally them and get them. If they were a little bit suppressed. The guys over here haven't been shot at yet, so I think they can continue to try and suppress this squad if it's still there. Do we know, can this... They can't see the squad I'm about to assault. Okay. So we'll end this round.
Come on!
I don't know if I like my odds here with the MG Nest Overwatch, but let's see. We did go ahead and drop Artie on the MG Nest, so maybe they won't be as effective.
Drop packs! Charge!
Charge! No resistance. Okay, nice. Our AT is better than yours. All right, so we got this one. So they got into position. They took out those bad guys. They're still in cover. The MG Nest can see them, but they are in cover. We've got 2 more movement points. Again, we could try and move some of these guys up. Does it make sense? We're up on a higher elevation here, but I'm wondering if it makes sense to drop down. Like, which is better cover? Because these guys are still way above us. I mean, frankly, the better route is probably to flank up through these woods. But we're in enemy range anyway. All right. Let's bring some of other units up. Get them a little bit closer. Okay. Too far. They can move, what, 4 hexes of clear territory? Alright, so I think that entire command, I guess they're out. They don't have line of sight. So these guys could move, but I don't want them to. They don't have a range on anyone they can shoot at, and they don't. We're real bunched up here. We'd be a nice target for artillery. All right, so we still have Dearborn's platoon. His one squad got shot up pretty bad. So let's actually move him. Do we want to have him join the other guys? Okay. I should have rallied, not bolstered. My bad.
It'll take more than this to
That was inefficient, but we rallied and bolstered our boys. And no, I can't move. The other guys can't move anyway, so that's the end of this turn. Wonder what tricks they've got planned for us up ahead, Sergeant Grant asks, as the two of you consider the terrain. The enemy's prepared and has chosen this ground for a specific reason. The crossroads and machine gun positions remain in red team's hands. The runner races over and motions hurriedly for the Empire's attention. Naturally, he gives it. Get a little advice. I don't want advice. I'm fine.
No need for advice. Let's continue. We may get killed, but I know the objective is to secure the crossroads and also the hilltop with the MG. So we have rallied this squad over here. You can see they're green again, which means that indicates they're no longer suppressed. Or at least they're a lighter green. Before they were, what, red? So we do have a small force, and I think the captain's going to lead that force in the north. Around the enemy position here. No, they can't see any of that. Where's the MG's line of sight? MG can't see any of that either. So let's move. Again, there could be bad guys up here too, so something to be mindful of. But let's go ahead and move the LT with the squad he's with. Or sorry, the captain with the squad he's with. Move only that one hex, right? But I think they're safe there.
Let's get moving.
All right. So they move back around. Now the captain, again, he's got a lot more movement points. So he doesn't have to stick with this squad. He can actually move between units. So we could move him back over here. Although, does that just activate? Yeah, okay. So it just activates the captain. What is this? Line of sight over here. They can see those troops, but they can also be shot by the overwatching MG. So I'm going to have to keep pounding this MG with mortar fire. We've already got the other group moving in to do that. Actually, what we could do, press these guys to get them out of the open. What's the line of sight on this? Oh, he can see here. Can they not move up that way? Oh, they can. I don't want to move them into line of sight of the enemy, so can I not move both? I want to move them both. There we go. All right, so they are in cover, in theory, on the edge of this map, and will be threatening the enemy flank, perhaps. That, I think, is the end of the captain's turn. Although I think because the captain doesn't actually require using up a turn, so we can go ahead and move stern. Oh, sorry. I misclicked. I wanted to go ahead and move him multiple hexes. Alright, so he has 2 command points to creep him into position. And we'll continue to try and pound those guys with artillery. So he got into position with his MG. The other MG's probably too far back to do much now. And he finished his turn too. He's spent. Okay. So we used Stern's movement. He's spent. The MG here can't be activated. The mortars are used, and then the other MG can't be moved because I haven't activated either of them, and I threw a misclick. I used up one of my action points, but that's fine. He did what he needed to do. He kept the artillery on the enemy MG nest, which will hopefully have some effect. We really don't know, but hopefully it will have some effect. So I think with him being spent, we've got to go ahead and end the round. They got an officer trying to rally the MG. That's not good for me. I want to move into this light wood here, but again, that's going to expose me both. So the MG can't shoot on this right flank wood. Man, really sucks that your small arms can't pin guys from further away. I guess we will try to get some more elevation and move Wilson up this way.
I don't know if there's anything in this house. It wouldn't shock me if there's something back in this, like, house over here. Okay, we'll
Quit your belly aching.
rally the group that was hurt. Try and creep these guys forward here so they don't get shot as they move through this wood area. It's going to use up Wilson's movements.
Nicht anhalten.
Move! Exposed! Hell yeah, brothers. We got a reaction fire. Looks like our boys shot at the enemy for moving into the open. So we shot at the enemy officer and suppressed him. Yes! That should help us. Didn't use... Well, maybe it used second platoon's movement. So if these guys are suppressed... and the MG can't hit here... What? Okay, you don't need to sea lawyer it. Listen, I'm pissed too, but we gotta fight, okay? We can't bullshit about the rules here, dude. Your choice may change Dearborn or the battlefield. Maybe this point. Maybe that's the point. A trial of character. What do you want me to do? Complain? What do I want to do? Trust is useful between battles, but more so I think what I'd like is remove suppression. He's upset, but he's got a point. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. He's not wrong. We can do this, guys. Veterans can sometimes ignore suppression. Oh shit. Enemy mortar? Well, that's just what we needed to see. So if we're in line of sight of that enemy officer, we're in trouble. The only good news here is that we're not at the moment.
Gentlemen, follow me.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good either. Can we assault the enemy officer? Fail. It's like, can we... that was kind of a waste, but I don't know if this is smart, because I got to move across line of sight to get there. But this hex is not visible. Now, I can't get there without moving across their line of sight, but... Alright, so we're back into hiding. So they saw us, we ran across their vision, and then they didn't see us. I don't know. I just feel like we got to stack up against them, but maybe there's bad guys over here still. So maybe that's not wise. Try and get back in some cover. I'm exposing myself to enemy fire.
Hurry up.
still not in range of... I'd love to get in that house. Can I get over to that house? I mean, I'm going to be in fire the whole way, exposed to... I could also use mortars. Can these guys see me? He can't see me here, so I'm actually in a kind of safe position, at least from the enemy officer for the moment. Recon by Fire can be useful to reveal hidden enemy units if you think they're somewhere.
Find a target.
I suspected right. That barn had it coming, but we know there's an enemy officer in that damn barn, which... Okay, I guess that's useful to know. Can you move up and join them? You're going to expose yourself to fire too, but... Or would we want to move his companies up here to the road? They're not companies, but platoons. Or squads. I can't even think. All right. So the enemy can definitely see me. He can't shoot at everybody all at once, but we are getting troops past this ridge line and definitely in line of sight of the enemy. We'll see what the enemy does to us this next turn. I think that's everybody. Probably not great that I'm leaving my heavy weapons behind. Artillery's ready for you. Nice. Big guns. All right. So the captain's moving up and around. Stern can... Wait, where's the artillery? 60mm mortars are not what I had in mind. Oh, captain has access to 105s. Is he the only one who does? I think so. Have a good one, Luke. Thanks for stopping by. I'm really enjoying myself with this, by the way. I know I'm kind of figuring some things out, but this is really interesting looking. All right, so captain can't really see. Like ideally we drop the 105s on this enemy MG nest, or maybe the mortars. But okay. I'll just keep pounding the enemy mortars with, or enemy MG nest with mortars to kind of keep their heads down. Hopefully. We can machine gun these guys?
Stop whining and follow me. The day ain't over yet.
Let's try and MG these guys and suppress them. They're already suppressed. Okay, well. So our MGs are all spent. I still have that one squad way far back. Stop rallying your damn machine gun men. How dare you rally them? Okay, I suppose we can move the leader forward without the squad. We can move them both forward, but where can he... Like, what I'd like to do is I'd like to move my captain forward so that he can see the bad guys. He can creep, too. All right, let's try this. Let's move him here. Just Captain Lamb. We will creep him into position. And now use a 105 to hit this MG. Why was there like... It looked like a bunch of enemy units got suppression. Interesting. I wonder if that's like a morale thing for the enemy. Like, hey, there's enemy artillery, everybody's demoralized. Okay. So these guys supposedly are already heavily suppressed. The MG nest, presumably because they just took artillery fire, is also suppressed. All right, Dearborn. They can't charge from over here. They're too far away. So I'll use a point to activate them. Use a point to move them. Ugh. I'd rather not use Squad 3 because they've already taken some casualties. But...
Follow me to victory.
Good luck, boys. Nope. Failed. Bolster him again.
We shall go forward.
Try it again. There you go.
Gentlemen,
We have them now.
Okay, so the bad news is Dearborn's in a kind of vulnerable position. Yeah, okay. Took mortar fire right away. They're like, okay, so the enemy can see us and they can drop mortars on us. But we did eliminate another enemy squad. So there's that. All right, we got to end Dearborn's round. Okay. We used the 60 millimeters, right? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we knocked out that enemy squad north of the town, or north of the objective. The MG nest can see everything that we do from here on out, pretty much. But they are presumably not doing reaction fire. I assume for the mortars also right now. Oh, shoot, he's not. That's the guy I just used. Okay, so can Lieutenant Wilson move south? Like, I don't think there's anybody who can reaction fire at me right now. The mortars just used their fire. The MG is suppressed. So let's try and use Wilson and get his boys up. Order says, taking the enemy machine gun nest under fire, probing for supporting squads. With the support of the weapons platoon, we can eventually create and flank and fire via maneuver. Yeah, I did Recon By Fire. I've already got him suppressed, though. I think. Like, aren't they already suppressed? What's the need? Do we have the elevation advantage, or do they? I think we do. Yeah, we're above. Okay, yeah, shoot down on these guys. I probably should have bolstered them. I already have identified the enemy in the suspicious barn.
What's that?
It wants me to recon by fire. Well, I can't recon by fire with them. Alright, so they can't do anything else? Well, theoretically they could, but I don't think they have a line of sight from here. No, they don't. So I can move them up adjacent to the barn. Or I could just hold them here. Or I can move them up here. Give them more elevation. No worries. It's telling us to do something, but we already did it because, believe it or not, I actually kind of knew a little bit about the game before I started playing. It may not appear like it, but all right. So obviously that's a tutorial bug that just hasn't been squashed yet, but that's fine. That's what you expect at this stage. All right, so I'm trailing units off like a frickin' army force marching through the heat, but oh shoot, more enemies spotted up here. All right, who hasn't gone yet? What can they see from up there? Because that's a nice little Overwatch position. Okay, so good news is they can't actually see most of my troops from here. Maybe on the other side of the map, but I don't think they can shoot that far. Okay. I guess we should technically take this, right? I think the MG is still suppressed. I can't bolster because my leader's not over here with them. Let's do that. Let's... Over a leader over at this squad. They're still not... Oh, they're not in range. Oh, yeah, they are.
It's them or us!
Okay, so we did suppress them, although maybe not, because it said undaunted, which I don't know if that means they didn't get suppressed at all, or what the deal is there. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here. I want to take the objective, so let's move here. Take the objective and move through. So we have taken one of the objectives. I did just move my boys into line of sight of these guys who have elevation advantage over them. Undaunted equals no effect. Gotcha. That's what I assumed. The MG is still suppressed for now, so we're going to go ahead and flank. And let's see if we can suppress them this time. Still undaunted? All right. That's the end of this turn, I think. Everybody's moved. A Jeep motors around the bend and zooms close. What the hell? Okay. Okay. Oh my god, they ran over the captain? Okay, so is this how I take command? Is this how I become a commander of the company? Mission major defeat. High chance that Captain Lamb will perish. Oh, I can't leave my men. So that wasn't me. I wasn't driving the Jeep.
I do think this touches on a reality of World War II. There's a lot of fucking people got killed and seriously injured in training exercises. And just people being stupid. But anyway. I don't want to take a major defeat, so I'm going to stay with my men. Sorry, Captain Lamb, as much as you seem like a good guy. What does he notice on his clipboard? That is the burden of command. Wait, the battle's over? Aww. We really ran out of time? Okay. The men are happy anyway. We didn't lose too many men. The mission is a draw, I guess. I guess I didn't do a good job. Good enough job. Only took one of the 2 objectives. Oh, for the demo? You can complete it in the full campaign? Cool.
7 decades ago, we were all so young. Full of piss and vinegar, as they say. Ready for the great crusade which lay ahead of us. We were out for payback because of the Japanese sneak attack on Pearl Harbor. Some far-off place many of us had never even heard of prior to December 7th, 1941.
And I finished out that school year and enlisted in the Army in 1942.
Okay. Some of the veterans are from Easy, but our unit is part of what division is it? The Cottonbalers? All right, the exercise ends. All right, so there's 2 additional scenarios. Bardenberg and Sacred Ground. Bardenberg finds the Americans locked in a brutal winter battle following a failed tank attack. Sacred Ground commences when the Germans utilize a graveyard to slow the American advance through France. Those scenarios are short, sweet, and excellent for streamers. Hey, that's me! So you can, by the way, we didn't look a ton at this before, but this is where you manage your company, if you will. So you've got, obviously, the captain in charge. We've got our character right now who has 61 experience and 116 trust. I believe, according to the stuff I played before, when you get over 100, your units start getting perks. And I think you level up at 500? Oh, no. Experience ranges from 0 to 500. Every 100 generates a positive modifier. So it maxes at 500. So we've got a pretty experienced platoon here under us. Second platoon under Wilson that last battle was the first time I've used them, so their experience is much less. Dearborn's squad had fought in one of the previous little skirmishes, and then the heavy weapons had been used a couple of times. And you can use your prestige and your loyalty points that you earn to go ahead and increase experience here. So that's sort of the way that you level up different units is by leveraging prestige that you gain, and then also loyalty that you gain. Replacements, I guess, allow you to replace losses. We didn't, we're training, so nobody actually was lost. All right, that's going to do it for our first look at Burden of Command, an upcoming turn-based wargame and also leadership RPG that is fairly different from most other wargames out that try to deal with these kind of topics. Really, most games don't. I really have enjoyed my early access to it so far. I want to thank the developers for giving me access to this a little bit early. And we do have a couple more scenarios that are part of the demo that we'll probably work through. Actual combat scenarios, not just this tutorial scenario. So we'll see what those look like going forward. But let me know your thoughts below, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm out.